Hello, and welcome to HISD Up Close. I'm Board President Juliet Stipeche. On today's show, we'll introduce you to Linked Learning Houston. It's a new approach that gives our students unimaginable college and career opportunities. Also, Assistant Superintendent for College and Career Readiness, Rick Cruz, will be here to talk about how HISD is creating potential National Merit Scholars. And finally, did you know that many of our kids spend over 50 hours a week with some form of technology? It's a wonderful tool, but there are risks. Keeping our students safe is our #1 priority, which is why HISD has developed a new cybersafety website. That's all today on Up Close, and it begins right now. Linked Learning Houston is a new approach designed to blend rigorous academics with a career-based curriculum and real-world professions. Here to tell us exactly what that means is Assistant Superintendent of Linked Learning, Adam Stevens, along with 2 teachers who've spent the summer in training and participating in externships. Reagan High School's health science teacher, Veronica Pickney, and Westside High School English teacher, Makita Peters-Chapman. I want to thank you for joining me, and I'm really excited to learn more about linked learning. So Adam, what is linked learning, and how will this approach be used in our classrooms?
Well, thank you so much for having us. So linked learning is a transformational approach to teaching and learning, which really focuses on 4 things. So the first thing is rigorous academics. So it's just a way to approach teaching and learning. It's really transdisciplinary. So we have our English teachers playing with our reading teachers, playing with our math teachers, who playing with our CTE teachers, because we really want to make sure that the kids have the personalized supports. And that's the great thing about linked learning, is it's for all the kids. The second piece is work-based learning. So we give the kids opportunities, whether it's a virtual job shadow, whether it's an internship, whether it's an externship, and then we also want them to have the real-world technical skills. So we give them a chance to take a rigorous CTE component. So I'm joined today by a health science teacher and by an English 1 teacher, and they all attended some of our trainings this summer. We were also really fortunate to have 35 of our teachers attend externships, and so we sent teachers out to some of our community partners, and they learned about those real-world skills that they need to bring into the classroom, whether it's the vocabulary, whether it's the hands-on components. And so we're really excited to see linked learning taking off. And so we began our work this year with 8 high schools. We're working also with their feeder middle schools and also their feeder elementary schools, and then next year we'll bring on 10 additional high schools, their feeder elementaries and their feeder middle schools. So when it's all said and done, we'll be supporting 119 schools across the district.
Wow, that's great. So more specifically, what are some of the industry-themed pathways that are being offered in HISD?
And so that's a really big component of linked learning. So all of our high schools will pick one pathway to offer. Some schools have chosen health science, some have chosen building construction, some of them have chosen technology and media arts, some of them have chosen green resources and green building. And so we just have a wide variety of pathways, but really we tried to structure those pathways around high growth, high demand jobs, because at the basis, linked learning is about college and career for all kids. We want to make sure that every kid that walks out with an HISD diploma has the opportunity to go off to college and be successful, or step into a career and be successful. And so that's really what it's about at the end of the day. It's about having the students linking what's happening into the classroom to what's going to happen for them for the rest of their lives.
So if I were to go and visit one of the campuses that have linked learning, what kind of things am I going to see?
Well, really what you're going to see is a transdisciplinary approach to teaching and learning. And that hasn't really happened at the high school level, because generally at the high school level, you have your planning time for your English teachers and your planning time for your math teachers. But really, for our pathway teachers, we tried to make it a little more like elementary school, where you have your grade level teachers get together. So you'll have those pathway teachers sit and they'll talk about, this is a need that I see in our students, and this is another need that I see in our students. And so also each of the pathways have crafted one pathway specific project. So it's based around an essential question. And so some of our schools are going to be delving into the impact that the light rail is going to have on their community, when that's a big topic of conversation, especially on the east side where a couple of our schools are located, because as they expand the light rail, there's a big conversation around what does that mean for property values? Well, it's really good if you're some of our students' parents that own their own property, but it's not as good if you're some of our students' parents who rent their own property, because they may be priced out of their own neighborhoods. And so our students, our ninth grade students, will be going out into the community to do surveys. They'll be meeting with Metro to discuss the implications of that. They'll be doing some social studies work around maps and research. They'll be doing some math works around stats. And so everything is really interrelated. And so it's not you go to a class, you close your book, you go to another class, you open a different textbook. The teachers are all communicating, they're all planning together, so they're able to say, you know, today we're going to work on this portion of the project in our class, and we're going to work on this portion of the project in our class. And then at the end, the students will actually come present the project not just to the teacher, but also to a team of principals, district leaders, and also industry experts who can share feedback on the project and give more direction.
Wow, that sounds great. Sounds very experiential. And I know that a part of the training process was several of the linked learning teachers had an opportunity to spend weeks in training this summer. And so, Veronica and Makita, thank you so much. I was hoping that you could share your summer experiences with us. What did you learn this summer through the training program?
Well, I was at Memorial Hermann Northwest. I had a wonderful experience. Students appreciate real-world experience, and what better way for me to bring that to the classroom than to go out and experience it myself and recreate that in the classroom. So recreate what's transpiring in the hospital in the classroom. I not only looked at the healthcare, direct patient care aspect of healthcare, but I also looked at the business side of healthcare. Several people of my students want to work with patients but don't want to be with the blood and things like that, but there's business components that they can work with, and we can bring all of that back into the classroom.
So Memorial Hermann Hospital, a very dynamic experience. When you go back and you have an opportunity to speak to your students, what's one of the first things you're going to tell them?
Well, I'm going to tell them about our collaboration time. The careers are changing. So it's not like they were when I was in the healthcare industry. The pharmacists and therapists, they aren't just in their own environment anymore. They're coming out and they are contacting doctors. They're working together. It's kind of like the linked learning. What we're putting together now, it's the same thing they're creating in the hospital. So you have to work with people from other disciplines and come together for the best patient care possible.
That's great. That's wonderful. And Makita, you had an externship at the Houston Public Library. How did that experience affect the way you're going to be teaching students next year?
Well, I had the opportunity to shadow the Director of Communications. Wow. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. I was able to focus on the skills needed for my students, or by my students, such as strong writing skills. He kept emphasizing my students need strong writing skills. And so I'm going to bring that into my classroom. I'm going to create a blog for my students, and my students are going to work on the blog. They're going to create news releases, media releases, take photographs, all of it. And so I'm extremely excited. The experience was absolutely exhilarating and beneficial.
Wow, well, I'm very happy and excited to hear that. So, Adam, what kind of work-based learning experiences are going to be offered? We have some examples of the summer experience that they had. What are the students going to be able to experience?
Well, and one of the things that we know is that we can't wait until the kids are in ninth grade to start talking about college and careers. So as we're supporting the 8 initial high schools, we're also supporting their elementary and middle schools. And so this year, starting in 4th grade, the students that are at our linked learning feeder elementary schools all get to go on an out-of-town college visit. And that's really key because, you know, we live in such a large dynamic city, but things that are a mile away could seem hundreds of miles away to some of our students. And so we're putting all the 4th graders on a bus and we're taking them out to UT, A&M, SFA, Prairie View, TSU, and letting them spend the day immersed in the college culture. And then our 5th grade students are actually going to get to spend some time at Junior Achievements Business Town and Finance Park. And so they're really going to get hands-on around math and science and what that looks like in a day-to-day environment. So they're all going to get to start their own business and have to take out loans from the bank and work on payroll and paying people. And so that's not only going to prepare them for their careers down the road, that's also going to support them because there's new math teaks this year around financial literacy. And so we're really excited for that.
Well, also just one thing that I find fascinating about this is collaborating with our community to a larger extent. Like you said, the colleges, the companies, the Houston Public Library. Tell me, what has been the response from the companies that we've been working with in terms of linked learning?
Well, it's been really positive, really overwhelming, because when we look at the changing job market, we definitely have some needs. We have some middle school jobs, especially in Houston, with the fourth biggest city in the country, that we're not meeting. Right. And one of the things that we need to continue to do as a district is make sure that we're preparing our kids to be successful. We prepare a great number of our students to walk off into college and be successful. We prepare a good number of our students to go off into careers. But we have to think about how many of our students are leaving with jobs, and that one job becomes 2 jobs or 3 jobs to support their families. So, linked learning at its basics is about college and career readiness for all kids. So when our students walk across that stage with that diploma, they can walk off into a career and immediately begin to be successful. And so, we start at the elementary school, we start at the middle school, but also at the high school. We take all 9th and 10th graders from our 8 campuses are going to be going on college visits. We're going to be working closely with the Career Readiness Department, the College Readiness Department, to ensure that those kids all have the skills and all have their needs met so they're able to go off and be successful.
Well, I want to thank you very much for joining me on the show and providing us with additional information about this dynamic program. Thank you so much for all of your service. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Linked Learning Houston will give students a choice in fields such as engineering, arts and media, and biomedicine and health. You'll find more information about Linked Learning Houston on this website. Coming up, you'll meet a student who has spent the summer preparing for the PSAT and a high school junior who explored top-tier universities on the HISD Summer College Tour. Stay with us. Up Close will be right back.
Getting into a great school should never be about who you know, where you live, or how much you can afford to pay. Because every child deserves a high-quality education. That's what we believe. In HISD, our schools and programs prepare students for college and give them opportunities to achieve their dreams.
I plan to study petroleum engineering,
business administration,
biology and psychology,
mathematics, nursing, and finance.
I want to be an astronaut.
I'd like to do Broadway.
I want to be a lawyer.
I'm a doctor.
Artist, or a magician, or a teacher.
It's been a very busy summer for hundreds of our HISD high school students as they're preparing for college. Recently, about 200 students spent 3 weeks getting ready to take the PSAT, while other students traveled with HISD's Emerge group to explore colleges and universities. With me today is Assistant Superintendent of College Readiness, Rick Cruz, Carnegie Vanguard High School 11th grade student, Janeth Rodriguez, and also joining us is Sharpstown High School student, D'Angelo Val. So first of all, I want to say thank you very much for joining me today. And Rick, so the PSAT Prep Camp is part of HISD's new initiative to boost the amount of National Merit Scholars. Can you tell me a little bit more about the program?
Sure. The National Merit Initiative is something we launched this past summer for the first time, and what we want to do is really increase the awareness around national merit and national achievement and national Hispanic recognition programs, and also make sure that we're helping kids prepare for those very prestigious programs because they bring a tremendous amount of benefits and opportunities for our students. So what we did is we identified rising 11th graders who perhaps didn't know what national merit really meant, or might have heard about it but weren't sure what it really entailed, and had very good 10th grade PSAT scores. And we went to different school sites and gave presentations on what the significance of the exam is and what those opportunities were, and then we invited the students to participate in a summer boot camp to prepare for the 11th grade administration of the PSAT.
Now, for those that don't know, what are the benefits of a student becoming a National Merit Scholar?
Sure. It is actually one of the most prestigious recognitions in the country, one of the greatest academic accomplishments you can receive. It is based on your academic performance in the classroom, but in addition to that, how you perform on a test called the PSAT. And here in HISD, we administer the PSAT to every single 9th, 10th, and 11th grader, although the 11th grade score is the one that qualifies you for the National Merit Scholarship. And if you receive National Merit Scholarship, not only do you have this great accomplishment that you can put on your college applications or even in the future when you apply for a job, but it's also something that can provide you with a lot of financial resources. In fact, there are a good number of colleges that will give full scholarships to students who are National Merit Scholars and decide to go to their college.
That is great. That is great news. So, Janet, now you attended one of these camps. How do you feel after the camp?
I feel more confident about it now. Like now that I took a lot of practice and a lot of the teachers were very open to you and told you exactly what to expect and everything, I'm a little more confident for the PSAT.
That's wonderful. And how will you do things differently based on what you learned?
Mostly, before I wasn't really well prepared for like the vocabulary part for reading, but now that I have a complete list to study, I'm more confident and I'm gonna study to be more prepared since it's coming very soon.
That's great.
Coming back to school.
So, Rick, what does it cost for one of these PSAT classes?
Sure. Normally a course can cost anywhere from $700 to thousands of dollars for a course. And so we know that that actually prevents a good number of our kids from really preparing. And so what we did as a district and what the board did was decided to invest in our students and make sure that they all had access to PSAT preparation. So in addition to the camps that some of our students participated in the summer and that we look forward to offering again in the future, we've acquired PrepMe, a full PSAT and SAT program for every single 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grader in the district.
Wow, that's great. That's wonderful news. And D'Angelo, you had an opportunity to visit a number of college campuses with Emerge. Can you tell me a little bit about what you learned and what the experience was like?
Well, going to these campuses with Emerge, we visited a lot of top-notch colleges in the East Coast. And we were able to have a lot of counselors that were in college or had just graduated from colleges. And then we met people inside the college that really told us how to form our applications to enter these colleges, how to write our personal statements, extracurricular activities are important, grades, and just they gave you more of a feel, and then even the more college experience than regular students would have. They did not go to that trip.
That's one. What are you interested in studying?
I want to be a writer when I grow up, so English is something big for me. That's what I look for when I went to these colleges.
That's wonderful. And Janet, what are you interested in studying?
I'm interested in law. I really want to get into like the FBI when I grow up, so criminal justice is my thing.
That's great. I'm just extraordinarily excited of your participation in the program and the opportunity that both programs represent. And let me ask you a question, Rick. What other college readiness programs are available for our students in HISD?
Oh, there are a tremendous amount of different school year and summer programs for all of our students, not just at the high school level, but at the middle and elementary school level as well. And we really encourage students and parents to explore those different types of programs. They're actually listed and available on the HISD website. If you go to www.houstonisd.org/college readiness, you'll get a sense of the many different types of programs and support systems we have in place for students. So for example, I mentioned we have the PrepMe adaptive PSAT and SAT course for all students, but that actually connects to Naviance, which is our online platform for college and career readiness and exploration. So every single middle school and high school student has access to this great resource, can go in and learn about different careers, and colleges can actually research scholarships, apply for colleges, can connect with their counselor. Their parents have access to the same resource. We have tons of events during the year. This fall, some of our upcoming events include Texas College Night, where students and families can come out and learn more about the great opportunities available at some of our flagship Texas colleges, University of Houston, Rice, A&M, Texas Southern, etc. Fantastic opportunity. We have our Ivy Plus Night, where you can learn about top-tier schools across the country. We have programs all across the city in so many different fields, and we really encourage our students to go on our website, explore, get a sense, and to reach out to us if they want to learn more or have any questions.
When talking to students, what have been one of the biggest questions, the first questions that are asked to you in terms of students trying to get into a Tier 1 university?
Sure. I think what's become very apparent is that some students just don't know about the tremendous amount of opportunities and resources that are out there. They think that they can't afford these colleges, when in reality, those colleges have a lot of money, and so they have a lot of scholarships to give students, and it can be really cheap, if not free, to go to those colleges. Sometimes kids don't know what role the SAT plays, or extracurriculars, or how to write the right personal statement, and we have workshops and activities that are open to any HISD student and parent, where they can come in and learn more about what it takes to prepare, how to pay for college, we talk about how to pay for college. I think that's a big question on everyone's mind. Not just top-tier school, but how do I pay for any kind of college?
Right.
And what students and families need to understand is that there's tons of money out there, especially if you complete the FAFSA, which is an application for federal financial aid. Most of our students every year who don't apply for it are leaving thousands of dollars on the table. So an incredible amount of resources, but what's required to access them, I think, is access to that right information that we really aim to provide through our department and through the campuses and the support that they provide.
Well, D'Angelo, also experience an opportunity. How did visiting the college campus broaden your perspective?
Well, I think it made me braver when it came to colleges. I had a fear of the unknown with this college experience. Coming into it, how do I get into a top-notch college like Harvard, for example? And it seemed almost impossible. And then even if I did get in, how would I pay for it? And this trip that we went on, it gave me more knowledge on it. College like Harvard, it made that a possibility with the fact that I learned on the trip that colleges like Ivy Leagues, they give a lot of money to especially minority students and students coming from a poor background. So that whole thing right there, as long as I can work hard, that the college has my back and the college is trying to get me there, it really helped me come to peace with those worries I had.
And Janet, what do your parents think about your participation in the PSAT boot camp?
My mom was very excited because she knew it was going to help me out, and every night at home she's like, "Oh, you're studying your vocabulary words again?" And I'm like, "Yes, I have a quiz tomorrow." So she was very thankful, also as thankful as I am to the Emerge program for giving me the opportunity to take the course.
And Janet, did you see a significant increase in your score?
I did. I had a 300-point increase, so I'm very excited. I'm still aiming for higher, which is good.
Well, I can't tell you how excited I am about the opportunity in this program. You know, just as an aside, when I was in high school, I didn't even know what the PSAT was or what National Merit Scholarship meant to a future scholar. So I just want to say thank you for all of your amazing hard work. Thank you for all of your hard work and being able to show just dramatic progress on your scores. And thank you for sharing your story about how this program built your confidence and shows to other students in HISD that we can all make it and succeed as long as we put our mind to it, have the roadmap and the resources available. So thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
For more information about HISD's College Readiness Department, please visit this website. Coming up next, we spend so much time with technology, but there are hazards to our privacy and safety. We'll show you one way HISD is working to keep our families safe from internet predators. Stay with us as Up Close continues. The average child spends over 50 hours a week with media and technology. It's a wonderful tool to help us stay connected and explore the world. And we are really just beginning to tap into what technology can do in our classrooms. But this great opportunity also comes with great risks. Dangers such as compromising our privacy, cyberbullying, and sexting exists at every turn. With me today to talk about how we can keep our HISD families safe are Beatriz Arnias, a senior manager with HISD's IT department, and Lieutenant Roy Garive with the HISD Police Department. So Beatriz, what is HISD doing to educate our families about the dangers of the internet?
Well, we know that the internet has a tremendous amount of opportunity for education, but at the same time, we are aware that our students need to be protected. and that we need to inform them of how to use technology safely, right? So there's a number of things we're doing. Of course, we are giving the digital citizenship lessons to teachers and students, and we've created a web page about digital citizenship. It's quite extensive. It was initiated in the instructional technology department, but now our communications department is running it. And a lot of the content in it is based on an organization called Common Sense Media that is quite well known in the country for all the information it provides for parents, for young people, for teachers about how to use the internet safely.
Now, is this different from the HISD cybersafety website, or is this in addition to it?
So the Common Sense Media organization has their own cybersafety website, and we have our own cybersafety website. A lot of that content in it is based on Common Sense Media, but communications department has done a fantastic job of adding quite a bit.
Well, is it easy for our parents in HISD to utilize this resource?
It's absolutely very easy to use, and it's very engaging. I encourage everybody to go to that site and take a look. You will be surprised how much we can learn, and it's very interactive, very attractive.
That's great. So, Lieutenant Garibay, what can parents do to keep their kids safe when it comes to the issue of the internet and cyber safety?
Well, first of all, they need to be involved, day-to-day basis. Too many times a kid has an iPad or iPhone or the computer's in their bedroom instead of out in the living room where the parents can actually watch what they're doing. When you let them go behind closed doors with that computer, you don't know what your child's on. You want to know that they're doing the right thing. You raise them the right way. But they have friends, and friends might say, hey, check this app out, check out this site, and you don't know what they're doing if you're not watching it day to day. So to be involved on a day-to-day basis is very important, to know who their social media people, friends are. And me, I'll get on my daughter's computer and log in and say hi to one of her friends, and I say, hey, this is Robin's dad. And he's silence. So where's your mom, where's your dad? And I want to talk to your mom and dad on the social media site. Facebook's on there. I have my daughter's Facebook. I'm on the same page.
That's
I'm
great.
one of her friends. I want to see who she does it.
So being involved.
Oh, definitely have to be, day to day.
Now, Beatriz, I know that there are internet filters such as NannyNet. Do they work?
I don't know if they work or not. I assume, like everything else we do, they work to some extent. Really, safety in the internet is about awareness. We need to make teachers, parents, and students aware. And we all need to understand that whatever we put in the internet is liable to be found at some point or another. Unless we know all the features in an app, we have to be very careful about what we save, what we share with other people.
Now, Lieutenant, what do you think about the use of these chat rooms?
Well, chat rooms are exactly that. You don't know who's chatting with you. They could say, hey, my daughter was 18 at the time, it's an 18-year-old girl from another state, but it could be a 35-year-old man right here in Houston trying to meet my daughter. Being proactive and try to lead the school district police department. Back in 2003, we teamed up with the Secret Service to do that type of research, and we had one of our detectives assigned to the task force. So we've been on that part of it since 2003. Wow. So we try to be proactive to the most recent apps and everything else. And this year we're having a lot of officers go through training just for that type of thing. So when there's an incident at a school, we can get on Facebook, we can get a social media and track down the incidents going on. Because when you're talking to people, you don't know who you're actually talking to. And Secret Service and our guys, they're catching a good amount of people on a regular basis every month. They have 4 or 5 different people they're picking up and arresting because they're not who they say they are.
Wow, that's scary.
And that's why we try to be proactive on that end and stay ahead of the curve.
So, sometimes students are required to have access to email at school. And what ground rules do you recommend parents to lay down when their kids have to use email?
So we are, in our case, we have a set number of apps that we're recommending for teachers and students. We don't recommend anything. And one of the reasons behind a limited number of tools is that we can investigate those tools carefully and we can make recommendations about how to use them. The bottom line is that just like we taught our children do not talk to strangers before there was the internet, we still need to tell them that they are not to talk with people they don't know on the internet. They're not to respond to emails that appear confusing or that don't seem to be from somebody they know.
Right. So there's also another issue of cyberbullying. If someone's being cyberbullied, what should they do, Lieutenant?
If it's at a school location, every middle school and high school we have police officers on the campus. Every middle school, secondary school has a police officer. They can go talk to that officer about it. They can go talk to a teacher, any adult. And eventually, those adults will get it back to the police department so we can investigate it. You have, unfortunately, kids don't want to turn to adults. They think they know all the answers to all the problems and they want to solve it themselves. And as you can see across the country, there's a lot of cyberbullying going on where it ends up being end results of death, unfortunately. So we try to be proactive to be ahead of that curve, and any help we can get from the kids, the students, the teachers, any adult on the campus, we try to work as a team to make sure we investigate it and to find out who the bully is and go from there.
Now, there's also so many dangers that lurk on the internet. I mean, there's the positivity of having access to all these amazing resources, but there's a lot of dangers out there, and there's an issue about posting pictures or, making sure that you keep your information, your personal information, private. Beatriz, Lieutenant, what would you have to say in terms of your advice to a young person of posting personal information on the internet?
Well, first of all, personal information in websites where they ask for my date of birth or things like that, I absolutely do not answer. If it is required, I might put a different date, not the real date, because that's one of the pieces of information one uses for privacy issues like bank accounts and things like that. So for example, on Facebook, people invite you to the birthday club or some kind of app so that you know when to say happy birthday to your friends. Well, Facebook shares that information with other people. I don't join the birthday app because you're exposing yourself to individuals you do not know.
Right. Lieutenant?
Well, the internet's a very powerful tool, as we all know. And as she stated earlier, a lot of educational opportunities on there, a lot of things you can learn from there. But the decisions made by the young people today, they have to understand those decisions are for life. Because once you put something on the internet, you can never get it off. I explained to my daughter and my son when they were going through college, the stuff you put on there now, future potential employers are going to see that. A lot of times they see it before you even walk in the door for the interview. Right. A lot of times you won't get a call back because they research what you have. And growing up, like I said, teenagers think they know all the answers, and they're making decisions on a very powerful situation. And it's very important that our parents keep reminding them about sharing the wrong information, posting the wrong picture on the internet. Just the things that with their goofy friends, they think it's okay, but it's not, because it will come back with you later in life.
What about the privacy and security app the district is developing with Common Sense?
So we've started a rubric that measures privacy, safety, and security, and it's a way of analyzing all the different data that an app collects in various different ways when we sign up for it. Some of that information is collected directly from you by asking you to fill the information, and some of it is collected without you knowing by the way you're using the app. We've developed a rubric or a draft rubric, and we run it by Gartner Consultants and Common Sense Media. And we agreed with Common Sense Media to partner with other districts. So we're working with the New York Department of Education, Fairfax County, Clark County, Denver, Chicago Public Schools. And we are finalizing the rubric. What we will have in the end is a rubric where we can give you some scores about what aspects are safe or not safe to use. And the end result will be to make parents and teachers and students more aware of how to use and not to use the educational apps we promote.
Oh, wow, that's great. And just as an aside, what can I do to be a safer user of the internet?
I would be always aware of what information I put and know your apps, right? Know how to hide things, how to keep them, but always, even when you can hide them, I would be very wary about sharing personal information.
Lieutenant, what advice would you provide to
Well, I concur, because too many times we very freely put that information out, because it's like Usually you get it recommended by a friend about that app. Hey, check it out, it's a great app, you know, you'll like it. I know you like to do this, you know, travel or whatever. And the next thing you know, you're putting everything in there. And you look up, that's the 37th app you've done this year. So it's like, we get too, I guess, easily tempted to put stuff out there. And not intentionally, but you get caught up in the whole internet situation. That's what you do.
Yeah, we lose put our guard down, right?
What if we
it's a
say we're
technology
going to
era,
be
so,
on vacation
yeah.
this day and that day? Now people know your
Yeah.
house is going to be empty.
Right.
And
Right.
things like that, right?
That's why I post my pictures when I come back.
I encourage all of you to spend time studying the HISD Cyber Safety website. It's full of great information about how to protect you from the dangers of the digital world. And a special thanks to all of my guests on today's show for coming to spend time with me today. Remember, you can catch up with all of the news happenings at HISD by following us on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Juliet Stipeche, and I'll see you next time.